This is a place.
This is the place?
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Thank you for listening to This is a Place podcast. My name is Brandon, and I'm joined by a man who wants to get this episode done as quickly as possible, Nate.
But I won't get it done quickly as possible.
I don't know. You sent me a message that said we just got to do this in a jiffy.
Anyways, the only joke I could think of was not a good one, so we'll move on.
Well, here we are. Talk about more sports.
By the time this releases, we will know what pick the Jazz have the draft. So what is your prediction?
That we're going to get hosed.
Okay. That's a good prediction. Do you think we get a lottery? What's considered a lottery pick?
I don't know how it works. Let me just say, I have no idea what's going on. I just know there's something about a lottery tonight for you guys was last night, and it affects whether the Jazz get a really good pick or they just get
it affects
pick.
What order we pick in, right? And so
how many lotteries are there? That's
what I'm saying. What is considered a lottery pick? Because I think there's how many teams that are technically in the hunt for the number one pick? Is it 12?
I don't know.
Anyways, but normally I feel like they don't say you're a lottery pick unless you're like the top 3 to 5. I don't know.
So it just determines the order.
Yeah. They have like the little, like what they do for like Mega Millions and Powerball.
Yeah.
Where they pull out the ball and then
they like roll the thing.
Yeah. So you like, depending on like how bad of a season you had, then that's how many balls you get into the machine, right?
That makes sense.
And they pull them out, and
it's kind of like a raffle.
Yeah. That's
really. You had a bad season, you get a couple more raffle tickets for
And I believe the NBA does it that way to avoid teams from tanking, and trying to get the number one pick. Because one player on an NBA team can make all the difference in the world, right? It can take you from the bottom to top of the league pretty quick.
Either way, with Danny Ainge at the helm, he's going to get us a championship.
He's going to lead us to the promised land.
So depending on the results of last night, we're either buying our T-shirts for Jazz Champions 2025, or maybe we push it out to 2027. Either way, it's in the future. It's going to happen.
So you think it's going to happen in this decade?
I'm optimistic it's going to happen. In the 20s.
The roaring 20s.
When jazz music was at its peak.
Good point. There you go.
It has to be in the 20s.
There you go. The roaring 20s. This is our decade.
This is our decade. This is our dynasty.
This is our legacy.
Okay, that's enough sports talk for the people today. Let's talk movies, the other thing we always talk about. I made my wife watch Ghost for the first time. She'd never seen Ghost. I've never seen it. You've never seen Ghost?
I've never seen Ghost.
Oh
I was just talking today because somebody was playing 80s music and the song from Dirty Dancing came on. Mm-hmm. It's Patrick Swayze, right? Is it
right.
Ghost?
Yep.
So I told him how I just barely saw Dirty Dancing for the first time, like maybe a year ago. And I was like all hyped up thinking this is going to be an amazing movie because everybody talks about it. And I'm like, all it really was a movie about a pedophile.
Yeah.
And we all cheer him on and think he's doing a good thing.
Isn't that constantly happening in 80s movies, though?
I guess. Oh, yeah. I mean, that movie would never fly today, right? It would be torn up. Or at least the storyline. I think did they make it Dirty Dancing too?
I don't know.
And then they remade Dirty Dancing. I don't remember. But I did watch Roadhouse for the first time last week.
Oh, so you're just on a Patrick Swayze thing right now.
Yeah. So I think Ghost is next on my list. So
I think it holds up relatively well.
Ghost does?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very cheesy, but watching it and divorcing myself from watching it growing up, I think it was
Yeah.
still a good movie.
Forgot about that. Need to watch it, but
That's got to be your next it's on HBO. So you can watch it there.
ooh, okay. I think that's what Roadhouse. Maybe they have a Patrick Swayze thing going on HBO Max, but
And I was surprised my wife hadn't seen it because she loves Patrick Swayze. So
really,
yeah.
I love him too. But I kind of felt like Roadhouse was just a sequel to Dirty Dancing or something. Didn't
Mm.
because they never really explained where he really comes from. So they do, but they don't.
Have you seen anything new? You saw Guardians.
I did see Guardians, and I wasn't like
We talked about that one.
really excited about that one. So
Yeah, not I mean we're still a couple minutes in already, but not as much with the movie and sports talk today. And as we mentioned, we gotta get this episode done in a GIF. Now here's a question. GIF, the word GIF. Is that how you pronounce it? GIF?
I pronounce it GIF. I don't know.
You, like the meme stuff, like the little
Yeah, GIFF.
you pronounce it GIF.
GIF.
Okay, interesting.
Is it a GIF or is it GIF?
I call it a GIF. I think the consensus is it's a GIF. So do with
Like
that what
a
you will.
like a present, a GIF.
But the real question is the peanut butter. What's the peanut butter called?
Oh, GIF.
It is Jif, right? That's
Yeah.
one of the notorious Mandela effect things.
GIF?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because a lot of people thought it was Jiffy with, or let's see, Jiffy?
It's JIF.
Yeah, but a lot of people either thought it was JIFF or JIFFY, Jiffy. So that's one of
Interesting.
those. If you look on, there's lots of people showing it how they remembered it with Jiffy or with, I think Jiffy. I think not even just the two F's, but people thought it was Jiffy. That's not Jiffy. It's always been Jif. What we're talking about today is Jiffy. And we're talking about Jiffy Lube.
Why
Because
would we be talking about Jiffy Lube?
there are sponsors for today's episode.
And everybody who's listening gets a free oil change upon your rotation. You just have to pay appropriate. You have to pay
You just have to pay
appropriate
sales tax.
sales tax and some other fee, which basically equals to whatever they're charging for
For conventional or
oil
fully
change.
synthetic.
Yeah. Just kidding.
Yeah, but why are we talking about Jiffy Lube? Not because it's a sponsor, not because it's our favorite company by any means, but because they started in Utah. And I didn't know this until recently.
I didn't know until you told me a few months back, right?
Yeah. Jiffy Lube International Inc., American chain of automotive oil change specialty shops. It's founded in Utah in 1971, and it has been a subsidiary of Shell since 2002. Now headquartered in Houston, Texas, not in Utah. But it was founded in Ogden by Edwin H. Washburn.
Yeah, it was on 36th Street in Ogden. One thing I found interesting is that in 1979, James Hindman, who was a football coach at Western Maryland, bought out Washburn's 7 franchises that he had. and established.
Did you find that interesting?
I found it very interesting. Well, I didn't know that. I mean, one thing I find interesting is that it was a football coach who took it over, who bought him out, and then kind of put Jiffy Lube where it is today, right?
Yeah, moved it to Maryland, where the headquarters were moved to in the late 70s, early 80s. And then they went public in 87, and I mean, their household name today across the country, right?
Yeah. And then they merged with Q Lube, right?
I
Now they're
guess
like over like 1,500 stores.
that's what Wikipedia says.
Yeah, it's got to be true.
And it's funny, they kind of, if you look on their website, they kind of ignored the Utah roots. If you look on the Jiffy Lube company history, it says Jiffy Lube pioneered the fast oil change industry in 1979 with the opening of the first service center. So they ignore
Everything that Washburn did.
Yep. And
Is
why do you think
that
that
way
is?
Maybe Hindman didn't want to give him any credit.
I guess not. Yeah, they completely erased a part of their history, which I think is interesting.
Those sons of a gun. Which makes sense. To be honest with you, I don't know if I want Utah to be tied with Jiffy Lube.
Why do
I've
you say that?
never. I have only had bad experiences with Jiffy Lube.
I mean, same, but still.
Like it was even like back in the late 90s. My friend took his car into Jiffy Lube. He had a package of nerds in his little like cubbyhole console thing. They stole his nerds. And we're just like, why would you do that? And I think one time too, they like forgot to like screw in the oil plug for my mom's car and then spilled oil over her garage. And then they said it wasn't them. I'm like, oh, come on, guys.
They
Like,
never
it was
take
like,
ownership for it.
yeah, ownership. And I feel like I think I even tested it once. I went and put in a new air filter in my car. And then I went into Jiffy Lube like a month later and they come out with like this dirty air filter saying that I need a new one. I'm like, that's not the air filter I put in my car.
Yeah.
Different color, but they have been, what do you call it, in a lot of controversy over the years. I think I remember the story. I think in 2003 they did an investigative report on KNBC just saying that they were charging customers for services not performed. And I remember too, something other than a local news station, but I swear like they did one of those investigative shows, like 2020 type shows, did
Like the
something about them
hotels
too.
with the UV lights or the black lights.
Yeah, kind of like that. Well, they would take a car in and then they would recommend like all these services to be done that didn't need to be done, and then they would charge the person for it and then not even do the work. Is what I remember from the show. But so they were in deep water in 2003, then again in 2009, when they were recommending stuff to be done against the manufacturer's recommendations.
Mm.
And then again in 2013 for fraud, which I think that was probably the one I saw, was the fraudulent stuff where they were saying stuff needs to be done and they weren't doing it. So I know they put a lot of pressure on their managers to meet sales quotas. So I think their corporate's all about the spreadsheet. And they don't care
bottom
about
line.
the bottom line. So yeah, so I guess I'm kind of glad that they don't really bring up the fact that it was in Utah, because I don't think they've had good practices since they've taken over in 79.
Yeah, it seems their footprint is kind of diminishing in Utah as well.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Jiffy Lubes getting taken over by is it
Take
called
Five.
Take Five or something like that? Seems like a similar concept. So I wonder how Take Five is. There's even one over on 90th and Redwood. There's a Take Five that they built from the ground up, and across the street is a Jiffy Lube. So you always see Jiffy Lube having like this crazy special banner, like $20 for an oil change, which you wonder at the end of the day too, if you take the Jiffy Lube, are you really going to pay $20? Or are they going to have a bunch of all these fees they're going to tack on top of it? So yeah.
Yeah, for the
I
record,
re-
I don't go there anymore. It's been always a very terrible experience,
yeah,
especially the one by my house. I mean, I'd gone there quite a few times because it was convenient, but every time I was there, I'm gonna have my kids in the car, and the people are swearing, and then there was just always things I'd have to take it back for, things they messed up on or didn't do. So yeah, we're not giving Jiffy Lube a platform to say what a great company they are.
yeah.
They're
It's rare
definitely,
that even when we may or may not like the company we're reviewing, we tend to be a little bit more conservative and nice. But
yeah,
I mean, this is the first one. Well, maybe we've done it before, but this is the first one we're just kind of like, eh,
it sucks.
it sucks. I
I
don't recommend Jiffy Lube,
wouldn't
but
recommend Jiffy Lube.
it is super interesting that it was. I had no idea that it
It's
started
not
here in
Jiffy
Utah.
either. It's not quick.
It's true.
Where do you get your oil changed?
Me,
Do you do it yourself or
I used to do with my car. I would buy the package with the dealership,
okay?
and I stopped doing that a little bit ago. But my opinion, like if you want something done like kind of honestly, where there's no reason to upsell you, Walmart's a great place to go. They're
Walmart,
just
huh? Okay.
they're just hourly employees. They could care less if you buy whatever package, right? There's no incentive for them, in my opinion, to upsell you or make you do anything you don't want to do. So but the only problem when you go to I do like sometimes going to like a mechanic shop to get my oil change, because then they'll check things out and be like, hey dude, like this belt is gonna break or your whatever. They'll kind of check over the car. Because they're early, a lot of those mechanic shops, they want that. They want you to come in to do the cheap oil change so they can find something wrong with your car to fix and make the real money. So I
Hmm.
kind of like that fact that they look things over for stuff to fix. Well, Walmart, they're just going to do your oil change and get you out of there.
So yeah, Walmart will be our sponsors still, not Jiffy Lube.
I'm sure they will. And the good thing about Walmart, if you have to wait around, at least you can go to like,
Yeah,
shopping
there you go.
instead of being stuck in some dirty, what would you call that? Dirty room with some dirty chairs.
Yeah, I've never got an oil change at Walmart. I go to the Take Five. I really like them a lot.
Oh, you tried it?
Yeah, I've gone there probably 3 or 4 times now,
Okay.
and you pull up, they give you a drink, they give you fruit snacks if you've got kids. It's pretty quick, and they don't, I mean, they still recommend things to you, wiper blades, and they'll still pull out
Filter.
the filter, but it's a lot less
But you're staying
picky.
in a car, right? You stay in the
Yeah,
car
right.
and you can see them pull out the air filter, so you're not like
Yeah. And
wondering.
I changed that on my own now. I learned that long ago not to have them do that for you. But it's it's a better experience. So I like that place, but it is interesting. I mean, it's Jiffy Lube, but it's never been quick. It's always been way longer. Even with an open bay, you go in thinking it's going to be a quick experience, and it never is.
Yeah, it's true. And now they've started doing last few years, I feel like they're doing brakes, they're doing tires now. They're just trying.
If you want them to break more stuff, you can have them do those things.
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure. We want to retract our thoughts. We love Jiffy Lube. Appreciate them being a sponsor.
Yeah, maybe we're being too harsh. Again, I haven't been to a Jiffy Lube in a long time.
Oh,
Maybe it's got better.
maybe. And I've wanted the same thing. I bet you it's been 20 years plus since I've been to Jiffy Lube. So I've wondered, and every once in a while I see like the cheap oil change, and
Open
I'm like,
bay.
do I give them another chance? But I never can do it. So
I think my biggest critique of what Jiffy Lube is ignoring their history.
is what?
ignoring their upbringing, their history.
Yeah. For that fact,
It's
we're
it's a
back
little
on the
weird.
bandwagon, and we don't like him now because he took
Yeah,
Utah out of the picture.
it's a little weird. I mean, again, you said you maybe don't want to have them claim Utah, but at the end of the day, they came out of Ogden. See, it was originally a Utah company and then got taken over. And I'm sure it was a lot better back in the day when the founder just had a couple service stations.
I'm
Things
sure
once
it
they go
was.
corporate, right? They changed.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot to any company who franchises. You
Yeah.
kind of lose that what do you call it? Mama pop feel.
Personal touch,
Personal touch.
that love.
You
Yeah.
gotta love it, baby.
Anything else about Jiffy Lube?
No. Well, just the normal let us know why you hate Jiffy Lube. And if you love them, let us know why you love them.
Yeah. If we Jiffy Lube is I'm assuming they've got local franchisees, it's a local franchise in some ways, and so maybe they're just not hearing from the people what they want changed.
I think it's
Tell us.
tough. I think it's tough because I mean, if you're a certified mechanic, you're not going to go work at Jiffy Lube. I mean, it's
Right.
like you're saying. I understand, maybe why they don't have the best employees because it's not a job people probably seek after. To be
Right.
a oil change technician. Like if you're into cars and stuff like that, you probably want to be a regular mechanic. I hope I'm not offending any Jiffy Lube employees by saying that.
Yeah. I see your point though. It is a little more, you're gonna go for some a little more specialized. I think maybe anybody could go work at a Jiffy Lube
Yeah, I don't think
and
it would
learn it.
be sure. Yeah.
It's not extremely skilled labor.
No, I mean, I think anybody could change their own oil if they wanted to. Um, we actually did that for young men's one night, taught them how to change their oil. But at the same time, man, I'd rather pay the extra $20 and have somebody do it for me than spend 2 hours of my time changing my oil. So sorry,
You're just
I
gonna
don't
keep
I don't see this savings from doing it myself.
the filter. That's one thing.
Filter's easy.
That's easy.
That's super easy.
You can change the cabin and the engine filter.
It depends. Cabin sometimes you have to pull like the whole glove box off. So
No, but that's not that bad.
that's not that bad.
You can do it. Your hands don't even get dirty with that one.
Yeah.
Other than that, I could maybe change a tire if I needed to. Well, I could change
Yeah.
a tire.
Sure.
But that's about the extent of my car abilities.
Yeah. I'm not super mechanical when it comes to cars. To be
It's
honest
more
with you, I'm not really
computers
into
these
cars
days,
to
right?
begin with. So for me, a car is just a way to transport myself from A to B. I'm not really super into cars.
So you don't have a dream car?
I always wanted like the truck from Back to the Future, the Toyota. So I got a Toyota
At the end of the
Tacoma,
movie of the
the
first one?
black one. Yeah. So I got a Toyota Tacoma when I was like 21, and that kind of fulfilled my dream. And then, of course, I've got that 69 Mustang that the guy won't give back to me. So we'll talk about that later. But
Yeah, that deserves its whole own episode.
that wasn't necessarily my dream car. It just kind of fell in my lap. So
Kind of a project that you wanted to.
but I would love to have it back, especially right now. It'd be so much fun to drive right now.
Yeah.
We should have a whole episode on that whenever
Whenever
I
it's
ever
done.
get it back. If I ever get it back.
The saga of Nate's 69
Yeah,
Mustang.
yeah. We should make a whole podcast about it.
Does that guy have a business? We can review the business.
Yeah. We need an investigative reporter to go figure out what's going on with my Mustang.
Call Gephardt.
Hey, that's actually probably not a bad idea. If he won't respond. So
well, we got out. We didn't do it as quickly as we expected, but yeah, let us know what your favorite Utah originated company is. let us know.
Let us know. Go Jazz.
Go Jazz. Thanks for listening to This Is the Place podcast.
And this was a place we just talked about. See you next week.
Don't think they saw the salute.
You don't think they saw us? Are you sure?